This episode is brought to you by Resy and American Express. Resy is a digital platform that connects restaurants to restaurant lovers by elevating dining experiences, providing original industry content, and helping to fill some of the country's most exciting dining rooms. Because restaurants have always been more than just places to eat. The amazing world of restaurants is just a few taps away in the Resy app and at resy.com.
I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast gems.
Hey, Talkhouse Network listeners, I'm Jad Abumrad. You may know me from Radiolab or Dolly Parton's America. I'm here to tell you about my new show, Higher Ground's latest music podcast called Fela Kuti, Fear No Man. Fela is basically, you could think of him as the Nigerian James Brown, but with some Muhammad Ali thrown in and some Nelson Mandela. I think he's one of the most important musicians of the 20th century. And in the 1960s and 70s, he created an entirely new genre of music called Afrobeat, and then he turned that music into a weapon against the state. Like, if you have ever wondered, what is the point of art? Like, what can art do in this crazy moment we're living in? His life is a case study. Been working on this project for 3 years, talked to so many interesting people, Fela's family, Made, Sheyoun, Femi Kuti, Yeni Kuti, historians, activists, luminaries like Ayo Edebiri, Brian Eno, David Byrne, Santigold, and yes, President Barack Obama. All right, so I would love to share an episode with you right now. It's all about Fela, how he became the musician he is, created Afrobeat, this musical language of resistance. I hope you like it. And if you do, you can find the rest of the episodes on Audible or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for checking it out. Audible Originals and Higher Ground Audio present Fela Kuti, Fear No Man, written and hosted by Jad Abumrad. In a world that is on fire, what do we do with art? Like, what can music do? Can it actually change things? Like, really change the world? Let's find out. In this series, we're going to look at the life and the music of Fela Kuti.
Fela Kuti.
Fela Kuti.
I always get that. My tongue always trips over that.
Anikulapo Kuti.
The father of Afrobeat.
The black president, the chief priest.
I'm going to argue that Fela is one of the most influential musicians of the 20th century. From one of the most important countries that we in the West rarely think about, but should, Nigeria, he created an entirely new form of music that not only mixes jazz and funk and all these things, but also layers in resistance, bakes it in. Fela answers those questions about music and art in ways that are beautiful and troubling and profound. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. Here's a quick list. Ayo Edebiri, actor, writer, someone I really respect. She's in The Bear, great show. On some red carpet somewhere, she was asked this question.
A musician I have a cult-like fascination with.
Her answer?
Fela Kuti, who is a Nigerian legend. Bear is a very complicated man.
Fela has to be the epicenter.
And Questlove, one of the great musical minds of our time.
I mean, Fela is the one figure whose story resonates with modern American hip-hop culture.
The passion, the pain,
Jay-Z,
the strength, the need to get the message out there.
Beyonce famously quoted Fela on one of her albums.
Look, it's like, listen to it.
Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
It's the hardest shit you've ever heard in your life.
They invited me out to the African Shrine, which was his club just outside Lagos.
Then there is Paul McCartney, Sir Paul. The Beatle. He tells the story of seeing Fela play.
And it was very intense. But when this music broke, I ended up just weeping. It looked like one of the most amazing musical moments of my life.
Yeah, so this is Fela Kuti, Fela Kuti.
And then there's Burna Boy, the first African musician to sell out a U.S. stadium. In a video, he shows off a tattoo of Fela's face on his left forearm and also a Fela necklace around his neck.
It's like my hero. It's like the best musician I ever knew.
Just to pile on. Brian Eno, legendary record producer.
When I heard Fela, he absolutely blew my mind. I thought, this is really the future of music.
David Byrne.
This is not just feel-good music. There's something about this. They're doing stuff I'd never heard before. And I thought, oh, this is really liberating.
Even President Obama had some thoughts.
Music like Fela's is able to not just get folks moving, get them on their feet, but it also makes them feel alive. Our very best art and our very best music stirs the soul.
So how? How is he doing that exactly? To create that reaction in all those people? Unfortunately, we can't talk to him because he died in 1997, and he didn't leave a lot of tape behind. But for the last 3 years, we've been talking to the people who knew him.
Either in old school style or in a new school style.
Who fought with him, sang with him, took blows with him, and tried to change the world with him. The story they tell, I hope you'll agree, has everything to do with this moment, as we're all searching for, what do we do now?
Am I going to hold it?
No, I'll hold it.
Oh, thank God, that can be free. Okay.
I want to start this series with sort of a prologue by playing you some tape from an interview that we did with a man named Dele, where he told us about his encounter with Fela.
Hello, my name is Dele Shosemi. Bami Dele is the full name. Bami Dele means you set foot on the motherland, where we come from.
And Shosemi, your last name, does that have a meaning?
It's a name given to those who always advocate peace. Shosemi, let there be peace.
Listening back to that intro, I realized Dele's name basically contains his story. And his story, in a way, contains the story of Nigeria, with all the promise and tragedy built in.
So fire on.
We met Dele in a small studio space in London, where he lives and plays in a bunch of bands. He has a trio, quartet, quintet, orchestra. He's been called the ambassador of Afrobeat, that is, of the genre of music that Fela Kuti created. In fact, there were many times during our interview where Dele would sing a complete Fela song and do all the parts. The vocals, backing vocals.
The horns.
He would sing all the different saxes, the altos, the baritones, all the trumpet lines, the different guitar lines, the percussion, the shakers, all the things.
Then he goes there, bing dong, ding dong,
We'd called him up because we'd heard that he played keyboard in Fela's band in the late 70s and early 80s. We did not expect the story to go where it went.
You were born in the UK, you just said.
Yes, born here. And then we went back home. That's how I met Fela. So, yeah.
He told me his parents were Nigerian, but his dad had gone to London to study economics. He was born as soon as they got to London. But then when he was 4, 1967, his dad decided to move them all back.
What were the circumstances of your parents coming
in
out?
Nigeria, we had just gained independence.
1960.
In 1960.
Sovereignty to a new nation, the new Nigeria.
There was celebration, jubilation in the streets.
1960 October. Now
in every town, every corner.
This is the date we've been waiting to celebrate. Nigeria is free.
It was like, yeah, we kicked the British out. Everybody be ready to play your part. We can rule ourselves.
And so Dele's dad decides to move the family back to Nigeria because he was a believer.
Yeah, we're going to build our own nation.
He was going to put his economics degree to work to help build the country's banking sector.
When my dad got his qualifications, There was already a job waiting for him, so he didn't even wait. So I went home with my dad in 1967.
He was 4 at the time, and for the first time in his life, he was living not in a flat in the city, but out in the country, in the place where he was actually from.
I hated it. No ice cream. There were goats. They're going to walk into houses. I saw lizards and I was like, baby crocodiles? No way. What's going on?
But I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. It was also in Nigeria where he met Fela.
I was in high school. Every morning before the assembly, we used to jam on the piano. Brown, 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 lean on me. Just popular songs. Anybody who knows the song would just play. Bing, 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 you know.
Yeah. And every so often at these pre-assembly jam sessions, this kid would drop in.
2 years above me.
Slightly older. He would play with them, and he was pretty good.
This guy, he just used to jam. And I'm like, how does he know all these songs? I just said, anytime he's playing, I'm going to be watching him.
That kid, it turned out, was Fela's nephew.
Koye.
Fela was a massive star at this point. He was like Elvis. If Elvis were also getting into violent clashes with the government on a regular basis, more on that in a later episode. Point is, he was huge. And so his nephew...
He would come to school and be showing off, this is Fela's latest track, it's called Yellow Fever. This Fela's latest track is called Opposite People. This is Fela's latest track, it's called Colonial Mentality. So one day he was playing and there were some things he can't play together with his right hand. So I just said, okay, let me play that one you're playing. So I just went, bing, 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 boom, 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 bing, boom, ding, bing, 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 bang, bang, bang,
Fela's nephew would play one line, he would play the other. And he says they both loved how the riffs would sort of snake in and out of each other, a Fela trademark. And how when they were playing, their fingers would almost overlap.
The symmetry of those two together, then you could feel the tapestry of the two patterns. So he was so happy. He was like, yeah, keep it going. And then he changed.
Long story short, Dele and this older kid, Koye, his piano buddy.
A great friendship, camaraderie evolved, After meeting him, he'll leave school and he'll be going for piano lessons. And I'll go with him.
Just to watch.
Because my mom will not pay for piano lessons.
This goes on for many years. One day, Koye introduces Dele to his cousin, Femi, Fela's son. They become tight. And several years into their friendship, Femi says to Dele, hey, I'm going to go see my dad.
You want to come?
Want to come with me?
Fela? Yes, please. And then we went. And then he introduced me. This is not my friend I told you about. And he looked at me like, how's your mom coping?
How is your mom coping?
How are you all coping?
That meeting would change Dele's life in profound ways. But before we get there, it's important to say a few things to fill in that gap that I skipped over a second ago, from age 4 to 14, from when Dele arrived in Nigeria to when he met Fela Kuti. In those 10 years, things did not go as planned for either Dele or the country. Initially, his dad got them set up.
Your dad was doing finances for the government at that point, or?
No, he was working for a bank. Straight away, he worked with Standard Bank, from Standard Bank to Barclays Bank, from Barclays Bank to National Bank.
And his dad became a very important person, one of the top financial auditors in the country. They lived in a compound, they had guards. Dele worshipped his dad. Things were good. But the country was shifting. Toxic seeds were growing. even before independence.
Substantial reserves of oil have been located under the River Niger.
You had all this oil discovered in the south of the country.
This year, exports may be worth £5 million. In 10 years' time, perhaps 50 million.
So the British forced a deal on the new Nigerian government. They said, just because we're leaving doesn't mean you get to use our stuff. If you're going to pull all this new oil out of the ground, you're going to need our equipment. And if you're going to use our equipment, you have to sign a bunch of deals with British companies. In that way, colonialism really didn't end. It just changed clothes. The Nigerian government was not technically beholden to the British government anymore, but they were now beholden to British companies. And eventually German companies and Dutch companies and American companies. Those companies would continue to extract resources, and a very small group of Nigerian political elite would make a lot of money in exchange. In the middle of this shift, Dele's dad is working at a bank, doing financial auditing, trying to keep the books straight.
That was his job. He was one of the fraud auditors.
And in 1974-5, he discovers there's a whole lot of money missing from the bank.
He had made his findings, and he was about to release a big scandal, and they tried to shut him up.
Who's trying to shut him up, and why?
A syndicate of people who had ruined the bank, defrauded the bank.
Dele says his dad was about to file a report, about to name names. He's still not sure who exactly was going to be named, but he suspects they were pretty high up. At the time, he wasn't aware of any of this. He was 12, and he remembers one day, some very well-dressed men came to the door.
They came to the house. When your dad comes back, tell him this is his new car. They gave us keys.
These men brought a car?
And we were like, oh. And then the next thing they come, another visit.
This time they hand his dad a briefcase.
And he said, look, whatever's in it is yours. And then he's throwing the keys back at her and said, get out of my house, take your briefcase, take everything, and get out of my house. We're children. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Luckily, he told us, I've just been told to shut up about my work. I spent all these sleepless nights, and I've been told I should not report what I've found. Can you imagine?
So the car was a bribe. He explained that to you?
Yeah, of course. He called all of us. It was like, you see, in life, sometimes you get to the crossroads, you got to make a stance. Without a good name, you're nothing.
At this point in Nigeria, 1975, the initial civilian government was long gone. There had been several coups. The military government that was in power was actively disappearing people, killing journalists with mail bombs, hanging environmental protesters who protested against the oil companies. This would all come out years later in public hearings. At the time, Dele's dad had fortified the walls of their house and put bars on the windows. It would all come to a head on the night of September 11th, 1975. This is about 4 years before he would meet Fela.
My dad, he was supposed to submit the report the next day. We went to bed. They came that night, about 40 of them. Wow. They got in. They started assaulting the building around midnight.
This gang of 40, they first overwhelmed the security guards. And then they started pounding on the doors and windows.
With sledgehammers. That's the only way they could get him.
Wow.
Neighbors called for the police. Police said, oh, we ran out of fuel.
They said they ran out of fuel?
Yeah, one of the police stations that they called and blah, 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 blah. We couldn't get anybody to rescue.
So you're on your own?
Yeah. My dad told us to separate into different rooms.
He says he ran to the back of his house to his room and hid in a closet. He could hear the muffled sounds of screaming and fighting getting closer and closer.
And then the door of the room where I was in, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this door is now going to cave in.
Oh my God.
The door was just about to cave in. And I was like, I'm not going to go down without. I was saying to myself, what do I do? Do I punch? Do I kick? Do I just grab onto one and bite? I was calculating, that speed of thought. And then Suddenly we just hear, and we had people running. We just had, I was like, the door stopped moving. And I was like, oh my God. Our security guard had run into town. He had gone into like city center to gather his friends. There were about 100 of them marching from the village. So they got to our house just as our own door was caving in. They've gone, thank God. Then I heard the guard shouting our names to make sure we were all right, calling our names. I said, I'm in my room. And then I opened the door. I just saw a body on the floor in red. My dad had pajamas, pajamas matching top and bottom. It was soaked in blood.
Oh my God.
Multiple stab wounds. There was a massive pickaxe entry into his head.
Jesus.
Dang.
Dele says his father was unrecognizable.
Completely fucked up. My mom was distraught. Then the burial. Because we couldn't bury him immediately, we had to wait. It took a week. And because it was multiple perforations all over his body, the stench, oh Lord. I was like, why do we have to lie him instead? And my mom said, it's good. Let people see what they did to my darling,
Oh my God.
But over the years, I can still talk about it, but evil, damn. So yeah, God damn, how do you just ask for someone's life to be snuffed out, We had to waste about 10 cologne, perfume, spray in the room, because my mom instead open coffin. It was one big, massive stitch to keep the skull together, because it pickaxed him on the head. And I was like, why?
Imagine you are 12 and you see that. How do you process that? I have a 13-year-old kid. I don't even know how you answer that question, but making matters worse for Dele, he was told, don't process it. That thing that just happened, just pretend it didn't happen.
Family, friends, they were telling my mom, don't give interviews, go and hide, be really scared. They may still come for you. Some people say, please don't stop coming to our houses. Please don't. We don't know if you're being traced.
He was told, don't talk about it. Keep your head down. But he'd seen what he'd seen. He told us night after night, he would have this dream where he was trying to warn his dad that something bad was about to happen, but his dad wouldn't listen. And then he would wake up feeling guilty. So that's where Dele was at when his new friend Femi introduced him to his dad, Fela Kuti.
Fela? Yes, please. And then we went, and then he introduced me. This is that my friend Dele I was telling you about. You remember the son of that banker? Everybody in Lagos knew, Chief Auditor, National Bank, executed. And he looked at me like, tell me, what happened to your dad? Tell me the story. The same thing as I explained it, I explained to him. He shook his head. Said, how's your mom coping? How are you all coping?
No one had ever asked him that question before.
Have you had psychological counseling or psychotherapy? I said, no. I didn't know what that was.
He said he'd never heard those words before.
But my mom worked in a library, and it was just behind my high school. So I finished from school, walk around the back of the school into the library. In those days, we didn't have Google. Thesaurus. Psychological. Okay, psychology.
That's so interesting that he introduced you to the idea that you need to take your psyche seriously.
Oh. Then he said, look, I'm going to fight for your family because right now, both your mom and you children should be in therapy. And right now, your mom should not be working. She should be on permanent holiday. The full salary of your dad. I'm going to fight for that for you.
Holy
I'm going
shit.
to see what I can.
How did that hit you?
I was shocked. When he said that, I was like, he didn't know my dad. He's not even family. But he was the only, not the first, he was the only person who was bitter.
As in pissed, not scared.
That statement, my life just changed. I said, that's it. It's my new hero. I will follow this man to hell and back. Now I know what my calling is.
But here's the thing, Dele did not find his therapy where the book told him to look. Instead, he started methodically learning all of Fela's music.
All his back catalog, started teaching myself. As a teenager, I was 14, going on 15.
He says he would hit up anybody who had a Fela record, borrow it, and then he would study the piano part, the rhythm piano, 50, 60 songs. By the time he was 17, he started hanging around the Shrine, Fela's club, and watching Fela rehearse.
One day I walked up to him and I was like, Fela, can I play this song? I've learned it. He was like, you sure? Yeah, and I want to take a solo. You sure? Go ahead. I got on stage. He counts me in. You have to know. That's when I come in. Then the book has come. You be thief, and I be thief. You be rogue, and I be rogue. Girl, you be robber. Girl, you be robber. You be am robber. I know be am robber.
He says that first run through, Fela would occasionally glance at him and smile.
It was the first song I climbed on stage. It's a big deal for me. Authority still.
Okay, so pretty soon he had joined Fela's band, Egypt 80, as a rhythm pianist, which meant, there are 20, 25 people on stage. You have the horn section, the bass, the drums, percussionists, guitarists, multiple guitarists, and way over on the left side of the stage was him, sitting at a Rhodes piano. There are videos on YouTube where you can see these fleeting glimpses of him. He looks like a baby, scrawny Adam's apple. And there would be nights, he says, where they would play a song like Authority Stealing. And it would go on for well over an hour, just that song. Which meant, after the opening, dun 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 dun, after that, Dele would settle into one riff that he would just have to keep playing.
It starts with that bass line, then I go,
This one. He played it for us backstage in London before a gig with his quintet. He had this little electric piano that he demonstrated on.
Can you imagine me playing for 40 minutes without stopping?
Fela took repetition to an extreme. We talked to one person who told us that he once made his band record one song for 24 hours straight, an entire rotation of the earth. And he had a policy that every musician had to play their loops exactly the same each time. And if they didn't,
you just get fined.
You get fined.
We get fined. Oh.
Wait, how much?
If he find you more than twice in a night, all your wages gone.
Can you imagine? So we asked him, playing that one thing over and over again for hours with all that pressure hanging over you. Doesn't that make you nuts?
Oh, no way. No.
He said, actually, it was the exact opposite.
That repetitive thing, it just keeps me, take another breath. Meditate, keep it going. No matter what. Just like the heart, pumping up every minute, every second. Because the kick of the drums.
Walk me through what happens in your mind over the course of those repetitions.
It's like, it's gonna be okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hang in there. It's okay. There's more to coming in over. It's okay.
He says every night when he would play that one little loop,
it's okay,
he would feel his body calm. His breath would slow down. He would slide his attention into his own lungs and then pretend he was pushing against the walls of his lungs, pushing them out. And then he would slow his heart rate until his heart matched the kick. And after about 20 minutes of that, he would then drift back to the surface.
Fela told me a secret one day. He said, look, after many solos and all that, he said, when you want to take your solo, look how many people dancing on the floor. Zero in onto one of them, check their moves. Find something to engage with within the nature of that ostinado. It could be a little boy. If I just zero in on here and he zeroes in, I'm like, and then he's looking at me like, oh, okay.
In the interview, he sort of mimed what would happen. He would wink at the boy would wink back.
You're sort of like locking eyes and doing movements together.
He would move his head to the left, the boy would do it. Then to the right, left, right.
Someone I would like to be friends with.
Pretty soon they were basically dance partners at a distance.
Oh, okay. And I'd be like, maybe just to see if it would, and I get a reaction, you know.
This is the one part where I wish we had video to sort of, we could play what you're doing right now.
And I do to the groove.
At this stage of the interview, Dele was basically having a full-on dance party in his seat, just imagining him and that boy duetting back and forth.
I just used to trip on that hypnotic cleansing.
Yeah.
So that was my therapy. I said, I went and checked the psychological psychotherapy and all that, and I realized that it could either be administered or it is something you actually have to find a way. What takes you to a place where you're okay?
I gotta say, watching you sing the songs,
we can tell the passion.
I feel it's such an interesting experience watching you kind of feel like you're like channeling something.
Oh man, the energy I got. I just love doing this stuff, man. It's my healing.
Coming out of that interview, the word that I kept thinking about was not healing, actually. It was the word David Byrne used at the beginning.
Oh, this is really liberating.
Liberation. How trauma holds you in place. It's like a cage. But Fela gave Dele the opportunity to step out of that cage and be free. At least for as long as he was playing that riff. The reason I started with Dele is he's just one guy, but imagine a million Deles having more or less the same experience. Like atoms, one tiny explosion bumps into the next, into the next, into the next, until you have a cascade of energy that creates something much bigger. In this series, we'll show you how Fela did that, not just for Dele, but for the entire country of Nigeria and the world.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Fela was a genius. Someone's got to speak the truth. And he was a musical genius. He didn't just speak the truth, he sang the truth.
Some say he's the greatest musician in Africa. Others that he's a prophet.
Some of that music was prophetic.
Became a tyrant. People who are still hero worshipping him, I feel sorry for them.
He's a very complicated man.
And we'll get into all that. We'll tell you about his life.
Can't tell you how many times the police, army, park in front of our house.
Through the prism of his family, kids.
Surround it and riddle the house with bullets. Then they go away.
I said, why would you do that?
We'll hear from the people who radicalized him.
You can use your music to uplift people.
I saw the light.
And the people radicalized by him. Will depose a king, ignite a youth movement. Two actually, 50 years apart.
They're shooting us! They're shooting us!
The music was like inside of me. It was all around. It was just like, being hypnotized.
Drop into a 24-hour party. We'll travel to Lagos, Paris, London, dive into hidden archives to find out what does rebellion look like, sound like, when the weapon is not guns.
Fela said music is the weapon.
Music is the weapon.
Music is the weapon.
But music.
Weapon of the future.
If you're someone who doesn't think art has power, you need to listen to this. This is Fela Kuti, Fear No Man. I'm Jad Abumrad. Let's go.